for how many decades and things like that. All of those things are kind of coming up. Particularly Democratic opposition to school choice in light of all of these other things also is one of those things like if you guys aren't going to help us, then who is?
How about
the invasion
of to religion in so many areas?
Religion. Well, that one has been a really weird one for me because I've noticed that the black communities have been maintaining their sort of religious underpinnings while still entertaining a lot of leftist stuff in the Democrat Party. That was going on for a long while. I think that that has maybe met with a breaking point as well. So we're going to see where that one goes. That one's been a little weird one. But the thing is, when you start teaching their kids stuff, I mean, it's been a tolerance game basically for a while with the Democrat Party and black community and I think Hispanic community as well. And as far as religious freedom, religious bent goes. But I think that the left has gone too far. They've gone too far.
Yes.
They've started teaching this stuff to their kids.
Yes.
And it's like, wait a minute, hold on, hold the phone. And not only are you teaching it to my kids, you won't let me leave. You know what I mean? By opposing school choice.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have what's really happening inside these inner city areas where the Democrats seem to not want to prosecute criminals. So now you're living in squalor with criminals and homeless people crapping in street. You're trying to open a business. You got your nail shop over here, but there's a guy who comes out and he drops a deuce in front of your door every night.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and then on top of that, you have illegal immigrants flooding these various communities. And I don't know if you've seen some of the town halls in some of these neighborhood areas in New York, but they are pissed.
Yes.
They do not like all that stuff.
In Chicago, too,
In
man.
Chicago, too. So all of these things are kind of coming to a head, and I think that is leaving a very huge opening for the GOP to move in. Donald Trump, in particular, has always had an in with the black vote because he was a rock star with the black community for a long time.
Yeah.
Rappers were talking about wanting to be Donald Trump all throughout the 80s and 90s.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I was going to move on, but now you just touched on something that I think is a really important question here. And I kind of mentioned it a moment ago, too. Is the inroads that we have seen with black voters voting for a Republican, a.k.a. Donald Trump, in 2016 and 2020, is that more to do with the candidate Donald Trump or all of the issues and just being more engaged and doing more research and all of that? Then which is stronger? Do those same voters go along with whoever the Republican candidate is, or is it a Donald Trump thing?
I think they're open to any conservative candidate, Republican candidate, but Donald Trump has a particular in because of his history with the black community, and it's a different thing.
Go ahead, Ken.
Well, I think that also there's a merger of ideologies here because black community has always been skeptical of the government anyway, naturally.
Yes.
And also with criminal justice reform, you've got
Any
Donald
smart
Trump.
group is.
Well, we're finding that out these days, but I think the black community knew this for a while. And Donald Trump made huge efforts to try and fix criminal justice and then make criminal justice reform. Now, with him being indicted, 91 felonies, he's in this club now. He's in this club of people that are like, yeah, see, we're skeptical too, pal.
Government's coming
exactly.
after me. I see what the government tried to railroad me too.
Right.
I identify with this
guy. Well, they
guy,
called him
right?
Uncle Trump. I saw a video. They're like, there he goes down the road. He was going through some kind of a lower income area, and they're like, there goes Uncle Trump. He's going through exactly the same thing I went through.
Well, and I think when it comes to Trump specifically, we saw this whenever he had that. Whenever he did that interview with Sean Hannity, and whenever Sean Hannity is like, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" And Trump came back with like a fun little quip and was just like, "Oh, we're gonna yes, I am, and my first order is going to be drill, baby, drill," or whatever the case may be. I can't remember it verbatim.
Yeah, that was it.
But there is something not only just appealing to Trump because of his personality to just specifically the black community, his reach because of social media has escalated so far because other communities, whether it be suburbia or, whatever, are watching things like that on social media. And it's not, the stereotypical knocking on doors and that being the only way to learn about a party, Republican or Democrat alike. People are watching on social media from every single facet of their community, and they're being able to absorb. This is the positivity of social media.
Mhm.
They're being able to dissect what they want to do and how they want to vote and how they perceive these candidates because of TikTok, because of Instagram. And it goes, not only is it like particular probably in the Black community, Hispanic community, wherever you would like to place it, but another group that it's reaching that it's never reached before is Gen Z. I mean, Gen Z now is, I have never heard of 16, 17, 18-year-olds being so politically motivated.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Whether they be Democrats or whether they be Republicans, it's a little bit heartbreaking because you're like, oh my God, you're just a kid. Like, you shouldn't worry about these adult things.
Yeah.
But in that same sense, social media has changed the game completely. They're reaching out to these places that you could have never reached before. And Donald Trump has been doing that with Twitter, but he's also, I mean, I'm not in love with Donald Trump, but what I like about him is because he is quick and he is funny and he is fun and people, every single kind,
And he's authentic.
And he's imperfect.
him.
Yeah.
He's
him.
imperfect.
Don't tell him that.
You're right, but
I'm the best ever.
but don't you guys think, Katie, Tony, Gabe, don't you think it's more of an idea, not so much Trump, but it's the idea now we're kind of, our eyes are open, and we're more skeptical of the government itself,
And
the
we're
Department
looking
of
for an
Justice, the
outsider.
FBI,
and there's some truth to Trump, being so appealing because he's an outsider,
right?
And even though he's this billionaire, superstar, he finds a way to be more relatable and normal to people than a person like Joe Biden or any other politician that's been in the same seat for decades, and living in this Washington D.C. bubble outside of the real world. Only a couple minutes left here, so I want to touch on this. This is I didn't even realize this until a little bit before the show. We are 1 month away from the Iowa caucus.
Wow.
We are
wow.
1 month away today to people voting in the 2024 presidential election. That is wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of talk. You guys had a great conversation, a guest this morning on Mike Ferguson in the morning, Gabe, talking about the Iowa caucus. There's a lot of different opinions out there, Ken. There's a lot of people that say that the polls that we have been seeing that have Donald Trump up by 40, 50% are accurate, and that's what we're going to see in Iowa, and it's going to be the beginning of the steamroll. And then there's others like the guest that you guys had on this morning that have been making the case that the Iowa caucus, especially with the whole caucus process, is a tricky thing, and polls can't predict it, and don't be surprised when it's a lot closer than that, or if maybe even Donald Trump somehow loses the Iowa caucus. How do you feel right now, a month out, about the way that first vote is going to shape up?
Well, for whatever reason, and I don't know the reason, but the Iowa caucus supposedly isn't as important as it has been in the past years, and I don't know what that is. I don't know the reasons behind it.
Well,
but regardless of that,
in recent times, the person who's won it has not gone on to win the presidency. So I think it has lost. I think that's one
luster of some kind. You're right.
Bit,
It's not a bellwether like it used to be.
And so everybody else, if they were leading by even 10 points, everybody else would say, "Well, I wouldn't debate because I would recommend, if I was his manager, I would recommend that he not debate." But it's Trump, and they want to get 4 people going from both sides of him and attacking him. Donald Trump would not win. He would not benefit from a debate. So when you say that, now I do understand that when there's one person on that stage with Trump, I think that he needs to go up against someone. But it doesn't necessarily have to be against 4 other people where they're just shooting barbs at him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there should be I would like to see some kind of requirements for debates because I'd like to see Donald Trump on the
Yeah.
debate stage.
Yeah, me too.
But I also would never, if I had any influence on him, I'd tell him to do exactly what he's doing.
Oh, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
not debate.
There's no
It's-
question.
it's
I don't
the-
think anybody has
it's by far the smart.
argued that it's not
Yeah,
the right political thing to
It
do.
absolutely is, and I don't think it hurts him. Some people will point out that it hurts him. It makes him look like he doesn't have confidence when he's not on that stage. If there's one thing that Donald Trump does not need help with, it's an exuding confidence.
Right.
He's very very confident. Gabe, what are your thoughts? I know you guys had a really great conversation this morning about this exact thing.
Yeah, I do think the caucuses are going to be where we're going to see some surprises. I think just because there are so many things that go into caucus that it's different. It doesn't follow necessarily the trends of the polls. The polls, yeah. Because the thing is, the polls that's a whole bunch of people, and then they determine who goes to the caucus and who votes there. A strictly caucus state, that's whoever shows up on the day, whoever has organized their ground game big enough. And I think a lot of the campaigns have been working their ground games really, really hard in those caucus states because they know that there's more room to move around, basically, who's going to get what percentages. Yeah. And now whether or not those results change the momentum of the elections, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have a lot of fun watching it. And
Yeah.
I'm going to have a lot of fun listening to all of the various personalities on this station go over it.
And last, to your point, Ken, I don't think that the Iowa caucus necessarily is the end-all, be-all and like the predictor of the next president. But if somehow another candidate is able to, if another candidate besides Donald Trump were to win the Iowa caucus, which I find next to impossible, that obviously would be a huge game changer for that person. Or even if they were able to get it within single digits points or whatever, I think it would be, it doesn't mean game over by any stretch of the imagination, but it would definitely be maybe the last Hail Mary opportunity for one of these candidates to get back in it. So the importance of the Iowa caucus, I think, is wrapped up in that exactly.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump does win in a landslide, I think that could also be the beginning of the end because, it just starts to roll downhill from there. All right, that is Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the Morning. You can hear Gabe with Mike and Stell every day at 5:30 a.m. here on News Talk STL. Also, you can follow Gabe on his YouTube channel, St. John the Philosopher on YouTube. And, of course, you can hear Ken Williams every day with Vic Porcelli starting at 9 a.m. here on News Talk STL. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, you.
Guys.
Great to see you.
God bless.
All right, we are going to get the all-important weekend forecast for you. Steve Templeton, chief meteorologist over at Channel 4, joins us next on Colombo and Katie.
Pretty little princess, my pretty little dreams are bonding. Warm in the sun.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
The latest in the Trump lawfare saga with Zach Smith of the Heritage Foundation at 425. What should the Missouri legislature's priorities be in 2024? Patrick Ishmael, Show Me Institute, 525.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
If you have been thinking about selling your home, maybe going into the new year, it's something that has been on your mind. This is still a very good time to sell your home, so don't let that opportunity pass you by. Call the #1 home selling team in the area, and that, of course, is the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. The Wallners, Rodney and Jen Wallner, are a married couple. They bring that family perspective to the conversation. That was so important to us. We just over a year ago sold our old home and bought a new home with the help of the Wallners, and they are just the best. So not only do they bring that family perspective to the conversation, but they also have the stats to back up the fact that they're the best, and they have the intangibles as well. So they are selling 15 times more homes per year than your typical home seller. They also have so many qualified buyers right now that they guarantee to get you an offer. But they also have the experience and I think above all else, the work ethic to be the best and to produce results for the people that they are working with. We saw that absolutely firsthand. And while there has been a lot of changes over the last several months in the housing market with interest rates and other things like that, Simple supply and demand has kept it very much a seller's market. So it is a great time to sell your home. So if this is something you've been thinking about doing, do not wait. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Call the Wallners now. Call them at 314-810-SOLD, 314-810-SOLD, 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner Home Selling Team.
Facts don't matter. Lies don't matter. You or I lie, we go to jail. She lies.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
It's just part of the business. President lies, it's part of his business. Joe Biden couldn't tell the truth if he could remember it. And then you got Hunter Biden, because he's a drug addict, because he's a gun criminal, because, posts pictures of himself with hookers and crack pipes and all that kind of stuff. Now that makes him somehow wonderful.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
As the year draws to a close, it's time to recognize your hard work and dedication with our 2023 Compact Tractor Model Year Closeout Sale. At Seidenberger Nobe Partners, we're offering additional savings on select in-stock John Deere Compact Tractor packages with financing options as low as 0%. Come see us at any of our 28 locations or visit us for more information at snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 12/30/2023. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Steve Templeton's Weekend Forecast, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com.
I put my heart and soul in the air. My mind and mind.
So as I'm thinking about what I want to ask Steve about outside of the weekend forecast, I'm thinking, we joked last week, like, when can we start talking about a white Christmas? I know it's too early now, but when can we start talking about it? And he was like, maybe next week. And I'm thinking, like, oh yeah, next week, and now that's here, but we're still pretty far out. No. 10 days. Christmas is in
Gosh.
10 days.
So wild.
Is that ridiculous?
I'm so excited. But the Christmas season has gone by so fast.
Is that nuts?
I know.
It's in 10 days.
So crazy.
Oh, man. That is a realization that I was not ready for.
Yep.
What I am ready for is Steve Templeton, Chief Meteorologist over at Channel 4 and the Weekend Forecast. Steve, thanks as always for your time, my friend. How are you?
Happy to be here. You mentioned Christmas in 10 days, which, that is a shock. But then you got to start remembering, if you haven't finished your shopping like me, that the ship dates have to be before that, right?
Right.
So
Good
it's
point.
like you got 6 days to figure it out or something like that.
Man, no kidding. You are so right. So, I'm going to ask you about, if we have any projections about Christmas yet. I know we're still a little ways out, but before that, walk us through the next few days and what we can expect this weekend.
Sure. We've got rain coming in tonight, so let's deal with what's in the more immediate term here first. We're going to get away with a dry Friday evening, but it is Friday night. So if you're out late, if you're out around midnight, you might start to get a little sprinkle or light shower. It's really after midnight, though, we get into the bulk of the rain. So Saturday is going to be a wet day. Cloudy, cooler, and wet. The bulk of the rain in St. Louis is in the morning through about noon, but there's a secondary low pressure that slides through that could produce a few lighter showers in the afternoon to evening. So you still might get a little damp, a little wet later in the day, but the bulk of the rain, which probably adds up to about 1/3 of an inch, is from midnight to noon on Saturday. So Saturday's a wet day, cooler day, cloudy day. The high is 49. Now, that's still above the normal. Normal's mid-40s. But it is cooler than today's 61 right now. So just know that you'll probably want a jacket and an umbrella for Saturday. Sunday's a dry day, though, so if you got to get something done outdoors, 49 for the high. Still above normal. Mostly cloudy in the morning, gradual clearing later in the day, but a dry day on Sunday.
So 49 is the high both Saturday and Sunday? So we're looking about the same thing? Yeah. Pretty. Yep. And then, I got to ask, I know things can change in 10 days, but what are you seeing as far as the possibility, at least, of a white Christmas?
Not going to happen. And by the way, 10 days is about the period where I really start paying attention to every single model run, because you're starting to see the trends, the general trend. And of course, I've been paying attention to a little before today, but the general trend is that we're going to stay above normal going into the holiday. We may get some rain that Saturday, Sunday, and leading into the holiday. So it may be wet with rain, but it doesn't look like we're going to get any snow. I'd put the chances at like 2%. It's just not going to happen.
What about snow in general? Because again, I don't know what has happened. I don't know if it's just me or if it's the world, but like perception of time is all screwed up. I feel like oh no, of course it's not going to snow. It's not time for it to snow yet. Well,
Right.
yeah, it is. It's the middle of December. Snow is definitely
It doesn't help when it's sunny and 60
Yes,
degrees.
that's true.
Totally.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Like, the weather doesn't help. It
Yeah.
tricks you.
No, you're so right. You're so right. But so just in general, just looking forward at the rest of the winter and, into the new year and things like that, do you see, an active snowstorm or snow season in there at all? Or is it too kind of early to tell any of that stuff?
I don't see a particular storm in the next 2 weeks, and beyond that, it's a little too early. The general trend with an El Nino, and it's a very strong El Nino this winter. And there's other factors, global circulations around the world, that it's not just El Nino, but the strong El Nino is kind of what we're leaning on for our climate prediction for the rest of winter, and that tends to be a warmer than normal. And I think drier than normal usually, not every year, but drier than normal usually. That doesn't mean you won't get one good storm that dumps 6 inches or 7 inches. That's certainly possible, but we don't see that in the next 2 weeks. And I think we're going to finish, and this was when I did my winter outlook in November, we were saying we think December has a shot at being a top 20 warmest on record. I don't think we're quite there, but it's definitely going to be a warmer than normal December. Yeah. And that said, by the way, it does cool down for one day in my 7-day. And I just want to point this out so you can kind of plan around it. Monday is going to be a blustery cold day. The high's 40, but gusts to 40 miles an hour and wind chill 25 to 30 degrees. Look, that's just a chilly December day. It happens, but we're not used to it. So just a heads up, Monday, wind chill in the 20s.
Yeah, it'll definitely stand out. Well, appreciate that heads up and appreciate all of the information that you guys provide us every day and then every Friday here with us for the weekend forecast. Steve, thanks so much, as always, for your time this afternoon. We'll talk to you next week when we'll just be days away. We'll be going into the Christmas weekend. So very much looking forward to that conversation. Thanks, as always, for your time, my friend.
My pleasure. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Did he call you El Nino?
He did.
I thought
He
so.
absolutely did.
All right.
I seriously cannot believe the weather right now, though.
I know.
It's nuts.
You guys enjoy that crazy cold Monday while I'm down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We have got, this is a good story. Good news out of the Circuit Attorney's Office in St. Louis. Gabe Gore undoing some of Kimberly Gardner's stuff. We'll tell you about it next.
Hi, it's Mark McCloskey from My Pillows. My Pillows is excited to bring you their biggest bedding sale ever, just in time for Christmas. Get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. Rejuvenate your bed with a My Pillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. They also have blankets in a variety of sizes, colors, and styles. They even have blankets for your pets. Get quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more, all with the biggest discounts ever. They're also extending their money-back guarantee for Christmas until March 1st, 2024, making them the perfect gift for your friends, your family, and everyone you know. So go to mypillow.com and use promo code ONFIRE or call 800-645-1392, and you'll get huge discounts on all MyPillow bedding products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98. And get all your shopping done now while the quantities last.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Republicans say it now appears there's no chance of passing supplemental funding for Ukraine and Israel before the end of the year. Senator Tom Cotton told the Salem Radio Network this week there's nothing more Senate Republicans can do.
Then it looks like we're going to go into the Christmas holiday without legislation that will secure our own border or that will help Ukraine fight against Russia's war and aggression, or Israel to destroy Hamas, or Taiwan to deter China.
House lawmakers left Washington this week after passing the National Defense Authorization Act for 2024. Also at townhall.com, House GOP lawmakers began contempt proceedings against Hunter Biden for ignoring their subpoena.
Two top lawmakers said House Republicans will begin the process of holding first son Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress for defying their subpoena to testify in connection to a probe of his family. The lawmakers, House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer of Kentucky and House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan of Ohio, said in a joint statement that they will now initiate contempt of Congress proceedings. A defiant Hunter ignored the subpoena, choosing instead to appear briefly outside the Capitol to stress that he is only willing to testify in public while offering an emotional defense of his father. Edwin Mora, Washington.
Mexico's health department ordering the temporary closure of a melon packing plant implicated in salmonella infections that have killed 5 people in Canada and 3 in the U.S. The department did not name the company involved. The mother of a 6-year-old who shot his teacher in Virginia has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for felony child neglect. The punishment of Deja Taylor comes nearly a year after her son used her handgun to critically wound teacher Abby Zwerner. Stocks finishing mostly higher. The Dow up 59 points, the NASDAQ ahead 52. More at townhall.com.
Relief Factor pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Hi, Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. Step up your grilling game with our Solaire portable infrared grills. Our compact everywhere is a favorite of RVers and trailer pullers. Solaire Infrared provides the quick sear for bar marks and texture needed to properly finish sous vide. Use a portable alongside your larger conventional grill to create an instant sear zone and more juicy and flavorful food. Learn more at BestHotGrill.com. Affordable, powerful, portable infrared grills at BestHotGrill.com.
So from the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We've got some wet weather on our way for Saturday, but it holds off for your Friday evening plans. If you're out late after midnight, that's when we'll get a chance for some rain. In the meantime, cloudy and way above normal, but still cool. Grabbing the jacket with 50s falling into the 40s this Friday evening. But it stays dry until after midnight. That's when we get into some wet weather Saturday. Bulk of the rain's in the morning, but I still think a few showers are possible in the afternoon to evening. Just lighter and kind of scattered lingering showers possible later in the day Saturday. A cooler day, too, a high of 49. Now, it's going to be dry for Sunday. Cool again, 49 for the high. Mostly cloudy in the morning and a gradual clearing later in the day. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
News commentary.
Former Bills rising star Matt Araiza was cut from the team after sexual assault allegations, but now that his accuser has dropped the lawsuit, what justice is left for Matt? I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
With so many mesothelioma lawyers, how do you choose the right firm for you and your family? I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and here's my advice to you. Do your research. Results matter. Reputation matters. Last year alone, our team recovered over $1 billion for our clients. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited.
Call 800-602-2200. That's 800-602-2200. Call now.
Bills punter Matt Araiza was accused by a 17-year-old of gang rape at a college party in 2021, despite the fact that prosecutors declined to press charges and Matt was never charged, and despite the fact that these were just allegations, the Bills cut him from the team just days later. His dreams of playing in the NFL dashed based on allegations with no evidence. But this week, his accuser dropped her lawsuit. Now that it's over, what's left for Matt Araiza? He's lost valuable time, he's been cut from the team, his name has been smeared and his reputation tainted, and while he wants to return to the NFL, it's not that easy. What repercussions will this girl face? We don't even know her name. This should be a powerful lesson, but sadly, it'll just be chalked up to an oopsie if the sports media even acknowledges it at all. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show Tommy Lahren is Fearless at Outkick.com.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Moved here from Indianapolis. Decided to find a conservative talk show.
Live and local.
It's the Kim Gardner question. Yeah. Is this just incompetence, or is there malice behind this?
This is News Talk STL.
She's the type of beauty they all want to be. She uses them girls and the boys to her, they're just her personal toy. She's wicked. She doesn't care.
Welcome back to Colombo and Katie on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. A little sad there to hear from Steve Templeton that basically no chance at a white Christmas, because early on, there was some optimism. At the beginning of the month, there was some optimism that it was possible, and
We have not had a cold December.
no, we haven't.
And-
I mean, I'm not surprised to hear him say that, being 10 days away from Christmas and
Yeah,
it's
but
61 degrees outside.
And I'm trying to think, when Steve was talking, I'm trying to remember a December that has been really cold. I can't think from the last, honestly, the last 3 or 4 years, probably right before COVID, 2019 was even a nice December.
I feel like we've gotten all the snow, not all the snow, but like the biggest snow over the last several years have been in like February.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't happen in December
In March
or even
and
January.
April.
Yeah.
In like April, there's been snow. It just happened so late for Missouri.
Maybe the earth is spinning in a different
way.
way than it used to.
Maybe the earth is spinning in a different way.
Here's something that's spinning in a different way. The St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office, Gabe Gore. This is great news. Gabe Gore announced today that he is disposing of, or has disposed of, Kimberly Gardner's exclusion list. The list of police officers that if they brought a case, that she just threw it in the trash.
I forgot about that freaking list. That just garbage human being.
I thought, do you remember?
Garbage.
Do you remember, do you have any memory or like any number that pops in your head when you think of how big that list was? How many names, how many police officers were on that list? Do you have any memory
300,
at all?
300, 500? 300, 500?
That'd be about the whole. Well, not the whole. That'd be. I thought it was like 25.
Why did I think 300?
I don't know. But it was 75 officers. So 75 of the St. Louis police officers.
Yeah.
You're thinking about the overall.
I was thinking about overall
Yeah.
police officers just being like.
No, I'm sorry. So the list that she had of police officers that she thought were like corrupt or racist or whatever it may be, that brought like bogus charges against people.
75.
She never released it, so we don't know who they were. But if they made an arrest and they had evidence and they had a case or whatever, they had charges, she just threw it in the trash can. It was just an exclusionary list. For whatever reason, my memory was that list was like 25 officers. It was 75 officers.
So I'm reading right now that was publicized in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
That list
Yeah.
was 2019.
It was right. Yeah, it was early on. It was early. It was probably it was one of the very first like anti-police moves that she made.
But that's
what
before George
started all the-
Floyd.
That
That's
started all the.
before-
Oh yeah, no. This started. No, this is what started it with her. So, and this is even more ridiculous because the list was never made public. The names on the list were never made public, and neither were the details about why. It was just a vague, general umbrella of these police officers don't bring good cases. We believe these police officers have outside malintent or motivate outside motivate or whatever it is, racism, whatever it is, but never like specifics. Never like, hey, Officer Katie Fitzpatrick only arrests women, so she obviously is a misogynist. So we're not going to take her cases anymore. Like nothing that specific at all. And what Gabriel Gore got was even worse. So Gabe Gore is talking about this and today and talking about how he's thrown that list in the trash can. He said that he was just simply, when he took over the office, he was just given a list of names with no information, no reasons, nothing. Just a list of names. Here's 75 names of police officers, St. Louis police officers that that if they arrest somebody or charge somebody with something, we let it go. We don't move forward with it. Yeah. So he was expected, I guess, by some in the office or people that were supportive of Kimberly Gardner, just to take that list and go, okay, thanks. Now I know we won't, if these guys make an arrest, we won't do anything about it. No information, even behind the scenes. Like, I get why they didn't release it publicly, because I'm sure it was a bunch of BS and they knew it, so they didn't want to. But even behind the scenes, no information, no
about
reason,
these people
no reason
or the
why
cases.
they had this list.
This is nuts.
So the good news is he has done away with that list, and now all the police officers can.
I wonder the person that handed him that list, like you said, they were probably someone thinking that it was just going to be the status quo again in office and this is how it's going to be run.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens to that person that holds that list for this long and, keeps it as precious cargo so the public can't really get a hold of it, so people don't really know the specificity of what's going on? Who is that person and where did they go after the list was expunged by Gabe?
Mm-hmm.
I hope that person also lost their job too.
Yeah. If there were any Kimberly Gardner loyalists left in the office, I hope that
they're gone.
I hope that they're gone too. Another correction was made today. We reported yesterday about the New York Times omitting the word financially, changing Hunter Biden's quote. Today they published a correction about that, saying that they misquoted Hunter Biden, and now.
So enough people made a hubbub about it?
Which is good, but I always feel like, when a paper makes a correction, when a story goes out, 1 million people see it. Mm-hmm. And then if it's wrong and a correction is made, about 10% of that see the correction. So there's still, I'm sure, a lot of people that read that story, but there was enough backlash that the New York Times had to
be held accountable for their behavior.
Had to admit that they changed Hunter Biden's quote to make him and Joe look a little bit better after that.
It's kind of it's ridiculous too, because that, we heard his press conference.
Right.
We heard it. We watched it.
Right.
Vic and Ken played the audio.
Right. And
so for them to omit that.
Yeah, you're going to try to change the story.
From Hunter Biden's press conference.
They didn't get away with it. Here's something a little spicy.
Spicy.
In the House of Representatives. It was Kevin McCarthy's. This was the end. Their House is on their holiday break now. So they won't be back until the new year.
Okay.
So this was the last time that this Congress was
together
in D.C. in the Capitol. Kevin McCarthy used his last day in the House of Representatives to take some shots at Matt Gaetz.
Ooh.
McCarthy took aim at Florida Representative Matt Gaetz while talking to reporters yesterday afternoon, calling Matt Gaetz psychotic. He said, quote, "He was psychotic. People study that type of crazy mind, right? People like the FBI." Saying like he needs a
psych eval.
Psychic evaluation,
wow.
Exactly. Before that, he was talking, that was to a group of reporters. Before that, he was talking specifically to Politico, and he was describing the two sides of the Republican Party on his way out. He was asked by Politico, talk about the divide in the Republican Party, the two sides in the United States House. And McCarthy said, quote, "You have a cross-section of the delegation. You have Gaetz, who belongs in jail.
Oh, my goodness.
And then you have the serious members."
He's
taking in shots.
Oh, yeah. He's ready to go. He's flipping the middle finger and saying adios. You know who this also sounds like, though? Rodney Davis.
Every single person that has.
This reminds me of Rodney Davis.
Oh, yeah. When we talked to him the other day?
When we talked to him on Monday.
When he was upset.
He had some things to say about Darren Bailey. Now, I don't believe that Kevin McCarthy and Rodney Davis are alike.
Right.
That's not. But that kind of contrast goes all the way to
such a great point.
Former Congressman Rodney Davis.
How emotional the two sides can be against each other, even though they're all on the same side of the aisle.
Yes.
All they're set. They're all
They're all the same
Republicans.
team.
Yeah, but it does show. Yeah, when we were talking to Congressman Rodney Davis the other day, talking about how the specifically in primaries, how we're seeing more and more on both sides, but we were specifically talking about Republicans, more and more candidates coming up and trying to knock out existing, sitting members of their own party. And there was some of that same emotion that was shown. Matt Gaetz pushed back. He fired back at McCarthy, telling Politico that there were, quote, tough words from a guy who sucker punches people in the back. I didn't realize this. There's allegations that Kevin McCarthy elbowed Representative Tim Burkett, a Republican from Tennessee who's one of Matt Gaetz's buddies, elbowed him in the kidneys in the hallway, like doing like the walking by you, I got to get through, like boom.
No way.
There's reports
No
that
way.
happened. There was definitely some, like, it was at least a bump. It could have been an accidental bump, but there was some kind of physical touch.
That happened from McCarthy.
Some are being, and some people are describing it as an elbow to the kidneys. Some people are describing it as just a bump, but it happened. And so that's what Gaetz is referencing. So he said, tough when he was presented with the quote about you have a cross-section of the delegation, you have Matt Gaetz who belongs in jail, and then you have serious members. When he was responding to that, he said, quote, tough words from a guy who sucker punches people in the back. The only assault, and he said, the only assault I ever committed was against Kevin's fragile ego.
Oh, my. This is where
I want to see a charity boxing match.
Yeah, between Kevin and Matt Gaetz.
Between Kevin McCarthy and Matt Gaetz.
But this is where that kind of drama, like, it does make me tee-hee of the thought of Kevin McCarthy sideswiping somebody in the hallway. Like, what?
You know what? He looks like the kind of guy that would
Just
do it.
like,
I could see it.
like a little bit passive-aggressive.
I could see it. I could see it.
It's
That's all I'm saying. He's got that kind of face.
Yes, but this is also where the conservatives get themselves in so much trouble because there is pettiness that goes on amongst the Democrats, but the conservatives play their pettiness and their personal feuds out in full display amongst each other.
They don't
and
hide
amongst
the division.
public.
Yep.
And to some degree, okay, at least we all know. I mean, I would qualify myself as a conservative. At least we know that that fighting is happening and it's going on. But it also makes Matt Gaetz, Kevin McCarthy, and issues like that seem so small. Like, you guys are bullying each other in the classroom, in the lunchroom, where we had to give the Heimlich maneuver from Dr. Rand Paul to Joni.
Yeah.
Like, we're going that far where we're trying to bully each other and,
That's
take
a great
someone's
point.
apple.
Republicans in the Senate are saving each other's lives. Republicans in the House are elbowing each other in the kidneys.
In the hallway. It's just like right now, Republicans have really been taking me back to the high school, middle school days. And I laugh about it, but I'm also just like, let's have some self-control. We know that you guys have a personal feud between you two, but you don't really see the personal feud going on between AOC and Nancy Pelosi. They're not catfighting in the hallways, and they don't have a lot of love between each other.
You know what? We're going to have a little Friday fun time in a minute here with Mike Steinkamp, our buddy from the Retro Nerds. As we mentioned, support local music and also support local alcohol. Mike's got a new whiskey that we're going to talk to him about, and we're going to do some fun stories with him when he gets here. So let's do one more little catty story here to kind of help lead into that. The View, yesterday, the hosts on The View said that Hunter Biden didn't do anything wrong and then took a shot at Meghan McCain, their old co-host.
Don't be coming after Meghan McCain. I love her.
Anna Navarro yesterday on The View downplayed that Hunter Biden used his famous last name to secure foreign business deals. She also shrugged off Hunter Biden's recent indictment for tax evasion. She said, quote, Joe Biden, this is unbelievable. This is Anna Navarro on The View yesterday. Quote, Joe Biden's crime is being Hunter Biden's father and being Hunter Biden's very loving, very good and very supportive father.
Yeah.
That's his crime.
Yeah, that's
He's
his
a
crime.
loving, good, supportive father.
I did see him take a line off of a hooker's butt crack, but okay, that's what the crime actually is.
Did he use his last name to make money? To monetize on Joe Biden's last name? Yes, he did. That's not a crime. Did Hunter Biden cheat on his taxes? Yes, he did. And he admitted to it, and he paid it back. 15% of Americans cheat on their taxes, and you know how many get prosecuted? Less than 1%. That was her quote. So not only does she say that Joe Biden is a loving, good, supportive father, she says it's not a crime to monetize your famous last name, and sure, he cheated on his taxes, but a lot of people do, and most people don't get prosecuted. Most people don't do it at the level Hunter Biden did, A. And B, most people don't get prosecuted because they work it out with the IRS and they pay penalties. They're still being held accountable in many cases. It's not like 14% of the 15% are just getting away with it. Then she took a shot at Meghan McCain. She said, quote, "Look, did Hunter Biden influence peddle on his last name? Yes, he did. So does half of Washington. People sitting at this table have done it." The crowd laughed. Everybody seemed to get the joke, but a couple of the other co-hosts asked her to elaborate. One of them said, Alyssa Farah Griffin said, "Who at this table has peddled on their last name?" To which Navarro replied, "I'm not talking about currently." And when she said that, Sunny Hostin, it was like this funniest. She it was like this burst of laughter, spit take, that meme
Squares.
that got him.
Yeah,
I could just got him. I could see like they thought that was the best zinger. Like, ooh, you did it,
girl.
Yeah.
That is talk about
And
a
the
bunch
crowd
of
was like,
squares.
woo!
Oh, God.
Get her!
Just the group of the most unfunny people trying to get a zinger of a person that's not even at,
not even there.
Not even
It has
there.
nothing to do with anything.
And Meghan
except that
McCain's
she's a Republican.
Yes.
That's
And-
the only that's the only reason.
And you know what? Another instance where The View is just so unlikable. It is such an unlikable, unfunny group of people that are so basic.
Yeah.
Basic.
Ooh,
got him.
Oh, got her.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
No,
got him.
thanks. that is the meme.
Not funny. Not funny.
You're not funny.
And nothing you said made any sense. Joe Biden's only crime is being a loving, good, supportive father.
Hunter Biden never done a thing wrong in his life. Never
what a-
done a thing wrong in his
What a
life.
freaking joke. The biggest joke is that there are people that believe that. All right, we're going to have a little Friday fun time with our buddy Mike Steinkamp from the Retro Nerds, great member of the local music scene, and now just releasing his own whiskey, his own liqueur. So we're going to talk to him about that and have a little fun as we wrap up the week here on Colombo and Katie on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
She uses them girls and the boys to her, they're just her personal toy. She's wicked. She doesn't care if she really she's wicked. With the wink and the smile, she has you.
Thanks for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Radio News Junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Vincent's Jewelers carries a full selection of lab-grown diamonds and jewelry containing lab-grown diamonds. Lab-grown diamonds are a great alternative to natural mined diamonds. They have the same physical, chemical characteristics of a traditional diamond, beauty, durability you want, but at a 70 to 90% discount. See them in person at Vincent's and at vincentsjewelers.com. vincentsjewelers.com.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
So I sent out an invitation to a Christmas party, but no Asians are allowed to be there. Whoa, that would be wrong, wouldn't it? Yes. Well, in Boston, Mayor Michelle Wu, a Democrat, a Taiwanese ancestry, under fire because one of her aides issued an invite for the mayor's No Whites Christmas party. Well, that caused some interruptions right away. So immediately the aide sent out word, I want to apologize for the previous email regarding a holiday party. I did send it to everyone by accident. I apologize if the email may have offended or came across so. So sorry for the confusion. New York Post pointing out Boston City Council has 6 minority, 7 white members. Now, Councilor Brian Worrell, a black Democrat, defended the no whites invite. He said, we make space and spaces for all kinds of people. Why don't you make an inclusive space for everyone, like a Christmas party? And one counselor said, I could care less. It said, I don't really get offended too easily, but we shouldn't do things like being divisive, especially at Christmas. The birth of Jesus is about bringing us all together. Jesus more dark than white.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Lit Cigar wins Best Smoking Lounge and Best Smoke Shop in the Riverfront Times Best of St. Louis listing for 2023. That is 2 years back-to-back. Lit Cigar Lounge and its new space in the district just off Highway 40 in Chesterfield. Lit is for men and women who enjoy great cigars, premium drinks. The website keeps you on top of special events, including live entertainment. LitSTL.com. LitSTL.com.
This Saturday night at 10 on Stories of New Americans.
I'm joined by Maria Teresa Ballo from Colombia.
A lot of the Colombian community that has settled in St. Louis are doctors.
Really?
Physicians and,
Really?
people like that.
Stories of New Americans. Saturday nights at 10 on News Talk STL.
One of the 5 most traumatic experiences in life is moving. I can assure you that McGuire Moving can help ease that pressure. Moving into a new home or a new business, locally, internationally. McGuire is rated number 1. More than 80 years of experience. Free estimate? Call McGuire, 314-241-0600. 241-0600. McGuireMoving.com.
Imagine a world where hands reach out to help one another and to help our first responders. Did you know that a recent study by Western Connecticut State University reveals that with each hour spent volunteering, your own happiness goes up by 16%? If you've ever wanted to be the spark, the change maker, the time is now. Volunteer a few hours with the David Dorn Foundation and ignite a new day for police officers and first responders. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer. We're waiting to hear from you.
I got an email which brought a smile. A woman named Mary wrote me, we are purchasing a new roof from John Beal based on your recommendation. I thanked her then. I do it again now. Mary, I only endorse clients I believe in, and I've been a spokesman for John Beal for 10 years. It's all about trust. So if, like Mary, you need John Beal, trust me. Call 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. You want to give someone something which they will really enjoy? Give them a Cafe Napoli gift card. You pick the amount, and they pick which of the Cafe Napolis they want to visit. Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Cafe Napoli in Town and Country, Napoli 3 on the streets of St. Charles, or right next door, Napoli C. The Napoli gift card. It's the perfect gift for anyone, or your entire office. Cafe Napoli. Cafe Napoli.
Is your family prepared for the financial burden of losing a loved one?
Are you aware of the cost of a funeral?
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for lifetime permanent final expense insurance coverage with no medical exam required.
Just answer a few health questions, and once accepted, your rates never increase.
Do you have diabetes? High blood pressure?
Have you had a heart attack? A stroke?
No problem.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial can help protect your legacy.
Call or text 314-866-8886. That's 314-866-8886.
To learn more about permanent lifetime final expense insurance coverage.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for immediate coverage by answering just a few health questions.
Call or text 314 866-886 or learn more at memorialplans.com. That's memorialplans.com.
Policies underwritten by Senior Life Insurance Company, not available in all states.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
The good, the bad, the ugly of the National Defense Authorization Act. We'll break it all down for you.
Larry Connors USA.
Now, weeknights 6 until 8
On News Talk STL.
Hard work and endurance moved him up in the corner. Enjoys a house on a hill.
Well, I wonder if Jeff and Joe are watching on the cameras. Because if they are, if anybody is, they're seeing shot time. Shot. Social in the
My
News Talk
God.
STL studio. As we mentioned earlier, we're talking about, Mike, I don't know if you heard me talking about you, but Mike Steinkamp is here from the Retro Nerds. And we talked about, Retro Nerds, Somebody to Love, the Queen Tribute Band, all of the other great local music projects and bands that you've been a part of over the years. And we always talk about on this show, we always say support local music. And now we're adding the caveat of support local alcohol.
Yes, right? Nothing wrong with that.
As Mike is launching a brand new whiskey, you have a guest here as well.
Yes, Kathy Cool is with me. Kathy
Hello.
Cool is our marketing director.
Hi, Kathy. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
What a great name, Kathy Cool.
Right?
That's you. Yeah, that's a radio name if I ever heard it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Keep
So
saying that.
Tell us about this. Is Mike and I go way back. We've worked on a million musical projects together. Mike also works in the finance industry, so we've talked finance things and over the years. But when you texted me several weeks ago and said I have a whiskey, I was like, well.
Because
that came out of nowhere.
I needed another side hustle, is what it was. I was too bored.
So yeah, with all of the other things going on in your life, how did this project come together?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Amicus Wealth Partners, the financial firm, is still going strong. We're in Sunset Hills, and then the Retro Nerds are playing shows all the time. Next Friday, we're down at Old Rock House with the show. We played about 70 dates this year.
Wow.
And so fantastic. I think we have like 8 Saturdays open for all of next year. So it's going really, really well.
Wow.
But I've found this new passion for whiskey and bourbon in the last couple of years. And after some conversations with some people that are in the know and decided let's create our own brand, right? So here is Investment Whiskey.
And so
holding on the cameras right now.
So Investment Whiskey. Can you tell the name? What is that from?
Because I'm a financial advisor in real life.
Yeah.
And so it's
cool.
Investment Whiskey. And a lot of people, there's the whole secondary market thing and the bourbon explosion and some people will buy whiskey as an investment. So it's a play on words,
so
right?
I visited your website before today just to look up some of the ingredients and everything, the about me and everything
She's
that
a
went into the
professional
whiskey.
broadcaster. She was doing research.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you,
I just
Kelsey
thought-
Grace, for the website.
I just
Appreciate
thought
you.
it was such an interesting thing because that's the first thing that I thought of was like investing into a quality product.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe that should be your catchphase.
Invest in good times is the catchphrase.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Invest in good
awesome.
times. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. And when it comes to whiskey, when it comes to other types of liquor, over the year, especially over the last couple years, there's kind of started to be more of a conversation and like you have your snooty, elites when it comes to any type of liquor,
Right.
wines or whatever it may
Right.
be. And then you have the people that are like just looking for like what's the cheapest thing on the shelf. And then there's been a focus, and I think something that maybe you're landing on here is making a high quality product that isn't, priced out of the range, where you're just trying to show off with your $400 bottle of whiskey. You know what I mean?
we're not there. So I go down to Sparta, Kentucky. The way all this gets started is I go to Sparta, Kentucky to the Neely family distillery. Royce Neely's our master distiller. He's 11th generation distiller.
Wow.
Let that sink in for a moment. 11th generation, right? Jim Beam is 8th generation distiller. So Royce's family's been doing it longer. He has a great, amazing craft distillery down there. He turns out 2 barrels a day. 2. And then what we do is he'll line up 20, 30 barrels for us to taste. And then I'll go down and taste them. I took a small team with me last time. We'll take Kathy with us this time for sure, too.
It's a rough job.
It is a rough job, right?
Somebody's gotta do it.
Someone's
And
got
then
to.
we pick out the best of the best barrels that he has. And Royce is no slouch. He's double gold winning. He has won platinum awards, which are just unheard of with bourbons and whiskeys. And he's only 34 still.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So we pick out those best barrels, and then they go into a finishing barrel. So the first release in November was a port wine finish. If any of your listeners are familiar with Angel's Envy, that's a port wine finish as well. But again, this is single barrel. There's only one. It's coming out cast strength. That's 105 proof. And we want to highlight the best parts of the whiskey with that finishing in the port barrel.
Wow.
Not cover it up or mask it.
Yeah.
So we real quality juice to start with, a nice finish, and we come in at $150 a bottle. And they're only about 250 bottles of each for sale, and then they're gone. They're done. You'll never have that exact taste again.
Wow.
I can't replicate it.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's a perfect. I mean, that story right there really does tell the story of the name. I mean, you get something like that. It's literally a one of a kind.
It is.
It's literally a one of a kind because of the it comes out of one barrel, and that will never be replicated. So it's something that can be like a collectible. It can be something that you hold on to because of its rareness. It can be something that you enjoy for very special occasions. That investment, the whole brand, just that story really tells it all. That's really cool.
Thanks. It's been neat to see. About 20% of our bottles are already sold and gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And thank you.
That's
Thank you.
great.
And we're only available in one place so far. So that's fantastic that we're not even a month in and about 20% of the bottles are gone. But what's been interesting to see is, and Kathy's been there along a lot too, that you'll see people buy 2 bottles. This one I'm going to hold for my special occasion, or this is my investment that I'm going to give my kids, and then this is the one I'm going to drink.
I think that's a really smart way to do it. Kathy, tell us about yourself a little bit and your involvement with investment.
Sure. So I met Mike through the ABV Barrel Shop down in Arnold. I've been a part of the ABV Network, which is run by Steve Akeley. We do podcasts. He podcasts every day about bourbon, and he's been nice enough to let me be a guest on his shows for a couple of years now. And I travel, and I love to see distilleries, and I love to taste whiskey. And the shop has been a really great opportunity to come together, because the nice thing about whiskey and bourbon is that you never meet an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone you meet that loves what you drink is a friend.
Yeah.
And so
That's cool.
It's a community.
Yeah.
It's a real community.
Yeah. And Mike's been a friend since the barrel shop opened. And I'm starting a little side thing where I'm going to help some craft distillers get their product out and get it seen by as many places as they can. Because I like to talk to people, and I like to talk to people about whiskey, and he's trusting me to help him get it out there. So it's been a lot of fun. It's a great product. Royce distills out of pot stills, so it's quality. He doesn't chill filter anything. You know that the juice in the bottle is a good juice, and then to finish it, it's just going to give it even more depth and flavor. So I can't believe he even lets me stand next to him and do this with him.
You're ridiculous.
I'm just so excited about this.
So Kathy has one of the best palates in the Midwest. She's amazing, right? and is very
I
well
saw
known
that when
in
she walked
bourbon
right in the door.
circles.
Her palate
yeah.
is very
Yes,
nice.
yeah.
Great
That's a
job.
nice palate.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great. It's a great team that again, running my business, the Wealth Partners full time, and then the band.
Yeah.
I need someone like Kathy to be able to get us in more places because right now we're only available
I
at
was
the
gonna ask you.
ABV Barrel Shop in Arnold, Missouri. If you're a whiskey drinker, bourbon person, you got to get down there and check it out. All they do is buy single barrels, and then they do exactly what I do, but they'll go to Old Forester or Redline or lots of these different places and buy one barrel, have them bottle it up, send it to the shop. And that's what they sell, and those guys are true experts in that. Yeah,
ABV Barrel Shop.
ABV Barrel Shop. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jim Fosnot and Colonel Steve Akeley, good guys. Doing
And
great
is there future plans after this round, or is this a one-time, literal like get it while you can kind of thing?
Or
is that a question you don't want to answer right now?
It is. There will be an answer. The plan is.
I saw your faces when I asked that question. I can't give away the secrets.
We're good. The plan is to do a release about every 3 or 4 months. We have next year kind of planned out of what that plan looks like and what we're going to do. Some really cool things. So yeah, there will be more releases, but again, when it's gone, it's gone. I can't tell Royce make another one of those.
Yeah,
you
another
just
release
can't.
isn't
Yeah.
out of the same barrel. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
it truly is. So every time it is a one of a kind.
Yep.
Every single That is really incredible. I don't know. I mean, I don't sleep, and I still don't know where you would find the time to do all this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like-
Right? And it's always like the dream to make something that you love and a hobby of yours into the reality that you see for yourself.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you guys.
What's the website or social media or anything else
In-
that people?
Yeah, investment-whiskey.com. So
Investment-whiskey.
investment-whiskey.com.
That's great
We're
stuff.
also on Facebook and Instagram, Investment Whiskey.
Love it. Love it. Well, I would love to have you back on very soon after the new year, especially when we're, if there's any, whenever the next round
absolutely.
is coming
We'll
out,
bring
but
it in.
We don't even need to wait that long. And Mike, really appreciate not only this, but everything you've done in the music community and just this. What another great layer and product of just being a part of the local scene, and this is awesome. Thanks
so much. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Great
Thanks,
to see you, my
guys.
friend. All right, that is going to do it for Colombo and Katie this afternoon. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you never miss anything that happens on the show. Have a great weekend, and we will be back on Monday at 2 o'clock. In the meantime, keep it right here for the O'Reilly Report next, followed by the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show at 4 and Larry Connors USA at 6. Thank you so much for listening to us and supporting us here at 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Francis Chick Powers.
With an inside story behind a Christmas song.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was a short story before it became a song. It was penned by Mr. Robert L. May in 1939. Robert L. May's brother-in-law, songwriter and publisher Mr. Johnny Marks adapted it into a song. He now chronicles the song's birth.
To make a long story short, I had seen a little book about Rudolph, and I wrote down the idea in a big book I keep of lyrics, song titles, melodies, and it stayed there for about 10 years. Came out of the Army, came across this title, and wrote a song called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And when it was finished, I said to myself, this is easily one of the worst songs ever written. For example, the opening strain went, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Thank God I had the sense to know that it was bad, because it just dropped away into nothing. But about a year later, I was walking along the street. I started to hum, da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee. But that is in retrospect, because I didn't know it at the time that I had taken an old tune of mine and rewritten it. At any rate, I went home, and I was fiddling on the piano with it, and then I was going through my book. I came across this idea of Rudolph, and I realized it fit the tune. And when it was finished, came out the song as you know it today.
From the Christmas files of the musicalsoundreview.com, I'm Francis Chick Powers.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It is Friday, December 15th, 2023. Here's what's happening today in America. The NDAA, more bridges shut down, terrorist attack thwarted, and DNA test gone wrong. It's all coming up. Then Bill's going to be here with your message of the day. But first, Congress passed a $866 billion defense bill, the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act. It includes an extension of Section 702 of the FISA Court. So here's the very short of this. The FISA Court allows intel agencies to collect data on foreigners overseas. Well, you can't do that against Americans. The Fourth Amendment protects Americans from unwarranted searches and seizures. But this doesn't extend to foreigners. The problem is, in the process of collecting information on foreigners, information is often collected on American citizens as well. And there's been many abuses of using that information. And there's many Republicans and Democrats who want to reform this and require a warrant to get this information on Americans. But no. Queers for Palestine shut down the Manhattan Bridge on Monday. Now, if you're confused about Queers for Palestine, because if someone's LGBTQ in Gaza, they'd be killed, don't think about it too hard. Just consider them different fingers on the same fist. Well, these same type of people just shut down the 10 freeway in the middle of Los Angeles as well. Police arrested 75 people, but not before thousands of lives were disrupted. Who knows if ambulances needed to get through? But it's not just random people in New York or LA. Dozens of Biden administration staffers went for a vigil in the front of the White House calling for a ceasefire. They wore masks and sunglasses to conceal their identities. White House staffers. Danish intel agencies say they have exposed Hamas infrastructure in Europe. They say a terrorist attack was foiled. German authorities arrested 3 members of Hamas in Berlin. They had a weapons cache where arms were kept in a state of readiness against Jewish institutions in Europe. And Danish authorities arrested 3 suspects as well. No word yet on if there's a link between the two. Got to be careful with these DNA tests. You may not like the results. A couple sought help from a Boston fertility doctor 40 years ago. And it turns out he secretly used his own sperm. The doctor was a former Harvard med school professor, and the mom was told that the sperm was going to come from a med school student who resembled her husband, who you do not know. Turns out it was his. They discovered this when the daughter, now 40 years old, took a 23andMe DNA test. I'm Mike Slater from the podcast Politics by Faith, the great Bill O'Reilly, with your message of the day. Next.
If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or have no warranty at all, listen up. Car Shield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that's now available to the public. Save on out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. So please call Car Shield now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. 800-925-7584 for a free quote. This protection plan is at an all-time low in price. Drivers who activate the vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. So please call for your free quote, 800-925-7584, 800-925-7584. Hey, what do you have to lose? 800-925